Hey there, Course 1. Lesson 7 has a couple of, well, very different ideas that I think you're okay with. So let's just spend a minute on one, then a minute on the other. The first minute, let's talk lines, segments, and arrays. You were asked to say what shape or what geometric term is this right here. You'd probably say it's a line, right? It's a blank line. It's whatever you want to call it. It's a straight line. But really in math, do you know why we wouldn't say that's exactly correct? Well, a line by definition should go on forever on each side. And in order to show that, we're typically supposed to show what we call arrows on each side. So this is a true line. Therefore, what did we call what that was? Well, it was a segment. Because by stopping the line and not drawing these symbols we call arrows, we are telling the person that they stop here and they do not go on forever. And anything that does not go on forever then is called a segment, a part. So maybe you show it with dots on each end and you get rid of these. That's a line segment. So a line segment, more like this. True line looks like this. And this, well, it's a ray. One endpoint here and an arrow at the end here. Why don't you add a picture of each with a label in your math notes under lesson 7 and get back to me. All right, you're resuming now. Measures, linear measures, are good to be comfortable with, both in the US and metric international system. The US has its own system that uses things like inches, feet, yards, miles. Have you ever thought about how far each one is? Well, an inch is the width of most people's thumbs, so pretty small. A foot was literally measured originally by a guy who said, well, let me just try saying what my foot is. And so his foot measured to be about 12 inches, maybe a size 12 foot. And that's the length of your ruler. A yard is 3 of those, maybe a really long step. And a mile is 5,280 feet for my Remember the Titans fans. And that usually takes about 20 minutes to walk, maybe 7-8 minutes to run. Metric system is a little bit neater. It's about the thickness of a dime is the small one you'll use, millimeters. Centimeter is 10 of those, thickness of a little fingertip. Meters, 1,000 of those, about a yard, a little over. And a kilometer is the distance you'd walk in maybe 12 minutes. Okay, so it's good to know that kilometers, miles, the kilometers are smaller. So 5K runs stands for 5 kilometers. 5 kilometers is about how many miles? Well, if a kilometer is smaller, that means it takes more to get to 3.2 miles. Fun fact. That's a 5K. These are equal. So we're going to have different numbers measuring the same thing depending on the system you choose. 5,280 miles is going to be, or 5,280 feet is going to be more than 1,000 meters. What I love about metric is that everything is a multiple of 10. So it makes it really easy to convert, just moving decimal places, right? Good stuff. So making sure we can measure all of these things is important. We might even make a ruler in class today or tomorrow. But keep in mind that, this is about an inch, this is another inch. And when we count the spaces. We think, okay, this is an inch, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's how we measure. And then halfway between each is a ½ inch. And then you can go in between each of those halves and make a ½ inch. And we use that to measure things. Metric rulers just use tenths to show millimeters, centimeters. So how long is this in inches? Well, 1 inch is right here, and the line goes further than that inch. It goes here, and then it goes past all the way to here. And that's where it stops. Well, what is this? I quickly went over that this is ½ inch, halfway between the two. This is halfway between the half, and half of a half is a quarter. So that is one whole inch, right? This part is 1 full inch. And then what do we call this part here? It's a quarter inch. Don't forget your label, or you'll get marked off 1/2 point. 1 1/4 inches. Let's try maybe one more. How about centimeters? Nice and easy here. I count 1 here. Okay, let me mark it off here. 1 centimeter here, but we're still going. This was 1 centimeter. And then this part right here takes us to this line and it stops. This line is nice, long, bold to remind us it's a full 2nd centimeter. But it's good to know 2 centimeters. Well, how many millimeters was that? In order to know that, you maybe need to know how many millimeters are in between 0 and 1. How many millimeters in a centimeter? Well, we could go back and check to see, or count on our ruler. It's always a multiple of 10. There are 10 millimeters in a centimeter. In your practice problems, how about you pick A or B, C, and then do the rest. So pick A or B, and then do all the others. Thank you.